What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Veteran and Rookie Podcast. This here is your veteran, Benea.
And I am John,
the rookie, and we are here wrapping up our final episode in this little mini-series where we take a deep dive into each NFL division. Finally, we got the NFC East. We were really hoping to get David on, fan favorite, but scheduling and being an adult is just, it's too much.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I'm really sad.
He's not here, and our grand plan of having one fan on each episode
worked really well.
It worked well for the first episode, and then also when Kylie came on the NFC North.
Well, I was on the AFC East, so
yeah, I was on the NFC North. So
yeah, so we had three out of eight.
That's not too shabby. Maybe next year.
Well, and Kylie came on. Did she come on twice?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying she came on the NFC North.
Yeah. So we got three and a
sure.
half out of eight. 3.5 out of 8 ain't bad.
Two on the same episode.
This division is
loaded.
It might be the best division. I'm kind of excited for next episode. A little bit of a teaser. We're going to be doing a paper bowl. We're going to be going through the whole thing, all of our rankings and all that other stuff. But this might be like the points wise the highest division. And it's crazy. One of these teams is really loaded and stacked. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Who do you want to start with?
Let's see. Do we want to start with those NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles? David's team.
I mean,
he's with us in spirit.
If you want to.
All right. Well, let's start there. What do you think about that quarterback position?
Oh, I'm on the Giants. That's the
wrong team.
I didn't think he was that bad. Quarterback. They have Jalen Hurts, obviously. One of the best running threats in the NFL. He's a good passer. He's a good runner. I mean,
he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. What else is there to say? Everyone saw him play. He played really well. He played better than Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I think he was number 2 in MVP voting.
Well, so was Josh Allen. They were tied with 1 vote.
Nice.
Yeah. He did only have 22 touchdowns through the year. But he ran a couple more in, and he was out for three games.
Wasn't a couple more like 11?
Yeah, a couple.
That's a pretty good amount.
Substantial couple amount. Yeah, he ran in 13.
13.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
He ran in 13. He only threw 6 picks. Says here he was playing active for 15 games. I thought it was less than that. I thought he was out for
I know he got hurt in the Bears game. I don't remember if he had to leave that game or not. But
well, it says Gardner Minshew played for 5 games.
Okay.
So,
but that only counts. That's not games started for him. That's just games he played in. But anyway, Jalen Hurts.
Regardless, he's a really good quarterback. He is in the top 10 for sure. I don't like people saying that he's the best quarterback or top 5 or top 3 or anything because he isn't. He had 1 good season.
But he's definitely better than Josh Allen.
He's good. I gave him a 16.5 with the extra point.
I gave him a 17.
With the extra point?
I forgot to do extra point.
Oh.
But I don't know. I feel like, especially the Eagles, you'll see when we get to the whole team, they don't need the extra points, man. They are loaded as is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just give them, 10 extra points at that point.
I did end up giving them the most extra points I've ever given out. So that's kind of
all to the Eagles?
No, the most extra points I've given out to one team because I did spread my extra points out.
Okay, yeah.
The Giants did get one for running back. We'll get there soon. But talking about running back, what do you think about him?
I think they're all right. I think they're going to succeed this season almost no matter who's running just because that offensive line, which we'll get to in a minute, but it's very good. They lost Miles Sanders. He goes and signs with the Carolina Panthers, and they trade for DeAndre Swift. I think that's a great trade. It's a low-risk, high-reward because if they don't re-sign him, I believe they get a 4th or 5th round pick, like a compensate. Holy crap.
What is it?
They get a pick for not re-signing him.
That's kind of cool.
For losing him, and they traded a 4th round pick for him. They literally lose nothing.
They get a 4th round pick with it?
If they don't re-sign him.
Oh. I like DeAndre Swift. I think.
And so, yeah, it's very boom or bust player, but him and Rashad Penny, who they re-signed, or actually just brought in, he was in Seattle. They're both inconsistent and injury prone, but hopefully at all times, at least one of them is healthy.
That's what I'm thinking. And I think when they're playing well, they're better than who they let go. You just said his name.
Oh, Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. I don't think Miles Sanders is that good. He was only good because he was behind the best offensive line in the league. And,
yeah, that helps.
And I think these two guys can be really good behind that O-line, and I gave them a 6.5 out of 8.
I gave them a 5.5.
Oh, you give them that 0.5?
Yep. They got really good depth at that position, too, with Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott.
Boston.
I believe. Which one of them is the giant killer? I think it's Boston Scott.
The
something like that.
giant killer?
It's one of those two guys always will run for like 150 yards against the Giants.
Shoot.
And that's like their one good game of the year. But it's always against the Giants.
That's
it's like 4-0 against them or something.
That's crazy.
I think it's Scott, but it might be Gainwell. I don't remember. But yeah.
One of them.
To that wide receiver room, that's looking pretty stacked. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's really good. They have one of the best receiving duos in the league, and and like you were saying a couple episodes ago, with having two essentially number one receivers.
Yeah.
Because their stats were really close, and I think DeVonta Smith. DeVonta Smith. That's not the right guy I was saying. He had, maybe I was talking about someone else, but they're pretty close in stats, and yeah, I was thinking about someone else. Stupid.
Oh, okay.
Dummy.
I thought you were talking about DeVonta Smith and AJ Brown.
Well,
they were pretty close in stats.
They are pretty close in stats. I was thinking about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Oh, yeah.
They were within like 30 yards of each other, and Lockett had like 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah, but they were both just like at 1,000.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think either of them had as many as DeVonta Smith had, or AJ Brown, because AJ Brown had 1,500 yards.
And DeVonta Smith just under 1,200 with 7 touchdowns, and then AJ Brown had 11.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. Some of the best receivers in the league. I think both of them. AJ Brown's obviously in the top 10, but I think DeVonta Smith is top 15.
Yeah, and if he has another kind of big year, like there could be an argument he's top 10 as well.
Yeah,
which would be wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so with all that being said, I gave him 11.5, and then I gave him the extra point.
Give him that 12.5
because I gave the Bengals the 13 with the extra point.
Yeah.
Because they have more depth, they have a better 3, and you could argue, you could say that their number 1 is better, or their number 2, or whatever, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that you made that face. Do you not agree?
No, I was just thinking about your burp and
yeah.
whether or not I'm going to edit that out.
Whatever.
Probably.
Yeah, I should.
You're
stop
welcome,
talking.
listeners.
Yeah, my turn to stop talking.
Yeah, Quez Watkins is their number 3 option, so it does kind of fall off after that 1 and 2 there. I mean, Watkins is fine, but when you got AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith, you're pretty set at that position. So I give them an 11 out of 12.
Nice. With the extra point?
Nope. Like I said, I forgot to do extra points.
All the way, forgot?
All the way through the whole thing.
Dang.
And the Eagles are still loaded because I give their tight end group a 6 out of 8, which is pretty darn good. They got Dallas Goedert there, and he's one of the better tight ends in the league.
Yeah, I gave him a 6, and then I gave him that extra point. And I'm kind of debating if I should have given them that extra point now, because there's also the Giants tight end.
Oh, Darren Waller?
Darren Waller. I'm remembering now. I gave it to him because he's not as injury prone and he's more proven. So I did give him that 7 out of 8.
To Goddard?
Extra point. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So just a little bit better just because he's, not hurt all the time and he actually played this.
Good receiving threat.
So.
All right.
O-line.
Yeah, I think last year's Eagles offensive line might have been one of the best offensive lines in NFL history.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know all the rankings or whatever, but like they were really freaking good. That's probably at least the best offensive line that I've seen since I've started paying attention to football back in 2016. I mean, there have been some great offensive lines. The Cowboys have had a bunch of good offensive lines recently, but that Eagles O-line was insane. And they only lost one starting lineman, Isaac Sumalu, who went and signed with the Steelers. So 2022 second-round pick Cam Jurgens is going to be taking his spot there at guard. But other than that, this line is the same as it was last year, and I don't think they're going to regress very much.
Yeah, I think even with the new draft pick, I think it's obviously a very good environment to be an O-lineman.
Right.
So, like, I can't see him doing bad. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think rookie O-linemen never like really. They're not like a boom or bust kind of thing. Maybe I'm thinking.
What do you mean?
Because like if you get a rookie receiver, they're usually or a rookie quarterback, they're usually like.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah. Sometimes I mean it kind of depends too on the lineman.
Maybe I'm tripping.
But
anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're still going to be good. They're still probably going to be the best in the league. And I gave them a perfect 10.
Oh wow.
And then I gave them the extra point.
I gave them 9.5 just because they do have a guy with like no experience.
Yeah.
Going in there. But I mean, second round pick, that's still a pretty high pick there. They were prepared for, filling that void. They got that a year in advance. So
yeah.
Good offense as a whole. Like very good.
Yes. I gave them that extra point, so they are at 11.
Wow.
They have 4 extra points out of the 5 offensive
That's just on
positions.
offense.
To defense.
That defensive line is very good.
Also very good, yes.
Yeah, Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat, they each had career highs. They each had 11 sacks last year. Sweat also had 27 pressures, which was second on the team. Fletcher Cox is still a good veteran, a force to be reckoned with in the middle of that offensive line. They got 2022 13th overall pick Jordan Davis, who didn't do much as a rookie, but still a very highly drafted player. They're expecting a lot from him. And, of course, they got the fall of the draft in Jalen Carter, 9th overall, another defensive tackle from Georgia. So 2 Georgia Bulldogs there on that defensive line who there are very high expectations for.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better myself. They had they had 11 guys, or 11, wow. They had 3 guys with 11 sacks just on the line, and that's kind of crazy. So
yeah.
I gave them a 14 out of 15.
Oh, wow. Another perfect score. I was tempted, but I went with the 14.5.
I gave them a 14, and then I gave them an extra point.
Okay.
You weren't looking at extra points. Would you have given them the extra point?
Probably.
So you would have given them a 15.5?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
There's a lot of good defensive lines in this division, but probably.
I do think the Eagles take it. That's why I gave it to them. That's because I did think that.
All right. Linebacking core. I mentioned earlier that, was it Josh Sweat? Yeah, had 27 pressures. That was second on the team. First on the team was Hassan Reddick. He had 41 pressures last year.
Insane.
16 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. He was wrecking havoc in the backfield there. Nolan Smith was their other first-round pick, another Georgia Bulldog. He's playing in that linebacking core, of course, and they're expecting him to get a good amount of playing time. They also got Nicholas Morrow and Nakobe Dean in that linebacking core. Neither of them have done a lot, though. Morrow was solid with the Bears last year, though, so a little bit of unknown in this part.
Yeah, Hassan Reddick also has 5 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries and 3 passes deflected. So he's just there all the time. He is that guy. And he's also, they run 4-3, so he's the 3 of the linebackers. So most of those sacks should be going to the line, and there was a ton of them on the line, but he also got 16 of them himself.
Yeah.
So an absolute monster. I gave them a 7.5, and then I gave them that extra point as well. So,
yeah, I also give him a 7.5 there. Hassan Reddick carrying big time this room right here.
For sure. And with the extra point, it's an 8.5 for me.
Right there. Boom.
Secondary, what do you think?
Well, they got very good cornerback duo in James Bradbury and Darius Slay. When James Bradbury was targeted last year, he only gave up a 45% completion percentage.
That's pretty good.
When quarterbacks threw his way. He also had 17 passes deflected and 3 picks. And, of course, Darius Slay, opposite him, he's got 3 interceptions and 14 passes deflected a year ago. Avonte Maddox and Greedy Williams are both solid corners to have on that roster as well. They brought in Terrell Edmonds from the Steelers in the offseason, and Reed Blankenship is set to be their other safety there. So a little bit shakier at safety, but it's still pretty solid. I gave them an 8 out of 10 here for their secondary.
I gave them a 7.5. So, yeah.
Good stuff. What do you think about their special teams?
Golly. So their special teams is one of them.
True.
Unfortunately, we have to do this every time. We have to go to special teams. They have Bryant Britain.
Britain?
Stop it. That's not his name.
Britton Covey.
Britton Covey returning kicks. Don't know who that is. So, and he was returning kicks last year, I believe, and he didn't do very good.
Boston Scott was also.
Boston Scott was also doing kicks, but they have Britain at listed on there. So he had 200 return yards, and he had a long of 26.
And it looks like he was their main punt return guy as well.
Yeah, he also wasn't very good there. He had a long of 26. Boston Scott had a long of 66, but he is not listed. So I don't know why they did that. Their punter only punted 2,000 yards. So most punters going through all these teams, and unfortunately we have to do special teams. And I've seen most punters get 3,000, 3.5, 4,000 yards punting, and their punter only had 2,000.
It's because they didn't have to punt the ball.
That could be because they don't have to punt the ball, but also not punting very far.
What's his average?
His average was 45 yards.
Okay, that's an average.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's fine.
So I gave him a 3 out of 7.
I also did that.
Fine, you talk about the kicker now.
Oh well,
you have to talk about
they got Jake Elliott. He was 20 of 23 from field goals last year, 5 of 6 from 50 plus. I give him a 4.5 out of 5.
I gave him a 3. He didn't kick much, but he got most of his extra points, and he missed 3 kicks. I mean, yeah, cool.
Good stuff.
I don't like talking about kickers. This is the worst part
of
my life.
But you like talking about quarterbacks. We'll do that in a moment.
Oh my goodness!
What's your final score for these Philadelphia Eagles?
So I did end up giving 6 extra points here.
Wow.
And you didn't give any, so I'm assuming I'm a lot higher than you. But I gave them a 90.5.
Wow. What's your highest team before them?
Highest team before them was the Chiefs at a 83, I believe.
Wow. Man, how did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl?
Because of the turf.
Yep, the turf did it.
The turf did it to them.
Yeah, I got my Eagles here at an 86.5, which is the highest.
How many extra points do you think you would have given out?
I would have given it to quarterback, receivers, line for sure, maybe tight end, defensive line, kicker, secondary.
So you would have given out 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So you'd be at like 92.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We don't even need to talk about the other teams anymore.
No, this is all Eagles.
Yeah. Let's go to Giants.
You want to go Giants? Okay. Yeah. What do you think of Danny Dimes?
Dwayne Jones.
Oh, wait. Pause. Over under on those Philadelphia Eagles.
Over.
Yeah, 10.5 over.
Way over.
Big time over.
Imagine they just tank and they're just bad. And then it's under 10.5.
Yeah, think about it, David.
Think about that tanking.
All right. Anyway, Daniel Jones. Back.
He is getting paid way too much for what he's doing.
What does he even do?
He does quarterbacking sometimes.
Allegedly.
Yeah. He threw 15 interceptions. Or
15 touchdowns. He only had 5 picks.
Only had 5 picks, but only 5 touchdowns. So that's
15.
Kinda,
wow.
What am I saying?
Should I stop? Numbers.
You should maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the Giants believe in Daniel Jones. I don't, though, and that's what really matters.
You were really saving that line, weren't you?
Yeah, I wrote it down and everything. You can see.
Let me.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be any kind of superstar. I think his ceiling is like an Alex Smith type game manager. He can use his legs. That's pretty cool. He can run around the Vanilla Vic, but I don't think he's going to be able to carry it the offense for you. But I mean, he's fine. He's not worth $40 million a year though, so I give him an 11 out of 20.
I gave him a 13. I thought he was a little bit better than an 11 because my 11, I gave mayonnaise coffee.
Will Levis?
I gave Will Levis an 11.
Yeah, that was your mistake, and that was like the second episode, and then you just have that to go off
and I'm like, I can't give him more than... he's better than I'm thinking Will Levis is going to be.
Definitely.
So I gave him a 13. He had 3,200 yards, which is like, yeah, I guess, fine. He Like I said earlier, without stumbling through my words, I said that he had 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Nailed it.
Boom, yes. And he ran 7 in, so that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which is this, like, if you put both those together, it's the same amount as Jalen Hurts had through
Without
the air.
him running.
Yeah, through the air. So, not the best quarterback here, but not the worst.
White Jalen Hurts.
Whiteland Hurts, yeah. That's why he had less yards on the ground.
Speaking of the best, though, I think that running back room sounds like you gave them the best score. They got Saquon Barkley coming off his best season since his rookie year. My big thing for him is, can he stay healthy again? Can he keep it up?
Yes.
And that's what's keeping him from a perfect 8 for me. I give him a 7 out of 8.
Why?
Because I don't trust him to stay healthy, and if he gets hurt, they're not going to be able to run the ball.
But why don't you trust him to get healthy?
Because he's been hurt the last 3 seasons, sandwiched in between his 2 good healthy years.
Well, he had 1,000 yards 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, he was all right in his second year, but like, look at that third year. Like, he had 19 yards, because then he got hurt. He had 152 yards, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
583, but that's still not a lot. Yeah.
Those are carries.
I was looking at the wrong numbers. I'm just like you.
You're a bit silly.
But yeah, I don't trust him to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, awesome. I'm glad he was healthy for most of last year because I picked him in fantasy, and he was good to me. So
it's kind of some of John logic right there.
No, I'm not basing off of fantasy. I'm just happy he was healthy.
He was good in fantasy. I gave him an 8 because I do think he will keep it up. It does kind of concern me that there's not a lot of other talent on the offense.
I think Matt Breida is the next guy for running backs behind him. So
who's
not
that?
Great.
Exactly. Who's that? I mean, who is he?
He's a running back.
Oh, okay. What does he do?
Runs the ball.
Is that what all good Giants running backs do?
No, he's not a good Giants running back.
Oh. Anyway, he.
Oh
man.
We who allowed us to have a podcast?
What is wrong with us?
All right, salvage it with receivers, Jonathan.
Cut this all out. What do you salvage it? What do you mean? They're bad.
Yeah, it's tough to salvage it with this group of receivers.
Yeah.
I actually do think they're slightly underrated, just because I think Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard are both good. They were just hurt last year, and Shepard's been hurt for a while, like off and on. He hasn't played a full season since 2018, and over the last 2 years, he's only played in 10 games. So when he's healthy, he's a good receiver. I wouldn't say he's a number 1 receiver, but he's a good receiver to have when he's there.
Darius Slayton played 16 games. He had 700 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 fumbles.
Oops.
Yeah. So really good group of receivers here. I don't think they're underrated. I think they're finely rated, and I gave them a 5 out of 12.
Oh, my notes so low on them. I give them a 5.5.
My notes said, "What do you mean you think they're underrated? What
do your notes say?
Mid and bad."
Oh, okay. I just came in expecting to give them a 3.
Oh,
that's all.
Yeah.
They got Isaiah Hodgins. He stepped up last year. He was solid. Wan'Dale Robinson was solid as a rookie. And they did make one move here, signing Paris Campbell, who's coming off his best season with the Colts last year. It was like 500 yards and 3 touchdowns, which, I mean, they need that.
That's more touchdowns than their leading guy.
Yeah, that's what they needed. So, yeah, you gave him a 5. I gave him a 5.5. But they did also add some other receiving options here, some more targets for Danny Dimes, and that's Darren Waller. Another trade that I like, another good trade that I would say is a low risk, high reward. I think it was like a late 3rd round pick or something that they gave up for Darren Waller. And when Waller's healthy, he's like a top 3 tight end in the league. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years, though, which is the issue. He's 30 now, so he's starting to get up there in age.
He's 30?
He's becoming an old man. He's been playing since 2016.
Gosh dang.
Yep. And so, will he get back to that kind of production? We'll see. But I think he definitely still has it in him.
He's had 2 good seasons. It was 2019 and 2020.
Mm-hmm. Because then he's gotten hurt.
Yeah.
I think those are kind of similar numbers to George Kittle. Because I remember when we did the NFC West in our last episode, Kittle's numbers were surprisingly low. But
You can see his talent though out there.
Yeah,
I haven't really seen Darren Waller play because he was
I've
hurt.
seen it, and he's pretty good. Um, and they also have Daniel Bellinger, who was a good tight end. He was their starter last year as a rookie, and he was solid, and he'll get some action still. So I give this group a 4.5 out of 8.
Wow, you're kind of high on him. I gave him a 6.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, you thought about giving him the extra point.
I did because of Darren Waller and
Yep.
because of all the
Well,
things.
I figured it wasn't because of Daniel Bellinger.
Yeah, I think Daniel Bellinger is really good. The O-line, I don't know too much about O-lines, so for most of these, I've started going to PFF.
Samesies.
Just taking a little look there, and then they have this stupid, like, they're 18th in the league because of this, that. I don't read all the words, but just the 18th. So they are 18th, which is like...
I thought they were like 23rd or something.
No.
28th.
I looked. And,
Oh, that's what I was looking at.
Oh, what? Are you looking at the site right now?
I can pull it up real
No,
quick.
I can pull. That's okay.
I got it here. I'm going to
Okay.
prove you wrong.
Well, what I saw is it said
I don't have it right here. I'm not going to.
it said 18th out of the league, which is 32, so just below average, and 44 sacks allowed, which is not the best thing to do to your quarterback. He does run a lot, so he like gets out of the pocket and gets smacked down, but I don't know. I just gave him a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I give him a 4.5. Let me pull up that rating. I could have sworn they were like down there in the 20s. As I scroll here. Yeah, they're number 29. So I don't know what list you were going off of.
Dang.
But yeah, the thing with their offensive line, I guess the saving grace, Andrew Thomas, he was second team All-Pro last year, so essentially the second best left tackle in the league. And they also have Evan Neal, who they took 7th overall back in 2022, so now he's going into his second season, and some higher expectations for him, even though he wasn't very good as a rookie. But Daniel Jones was sacked 44 times last year and pressured 143 times. So on 25% of his dropbacks, a quarter of the time he would drop back to throw, he'd get pressured.
Yeah, not ideal.
So I would have given them something lower, but Andrew Thomas is, their saving grace there. They at least have one good lineman.
I think I
and
do.
another who is probably going to be good.
I think I do remember reading some of those little words that come up next to the rating, and it was like Andrew Thomas or something like that saying he was good. So yeah, I knew that.
What do you know about their defensive
I don't
line?
know anything about their defensive line at all.
Not a thing.
Not one thing.
All right. Well, they got Dexter Lawrence, who's coming off of his best year there in New York. 7.5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and 36 pressures. I think all those numbers led the team. Like 7.5 sacks, that's solid, especially for an interior lineman. But then I saw he led their team in sacks, and I said, oh, that's not great, but I mean, good for him individually, I guess. He was also second team All-Pro, made his first ever Pro Bowl. Leonard Williams is a good lineman as well. He's just been solid in New York, both for the Jets and the Giants. And Ashawn Robinson was a solid signing that they got from the Rams. I gave their line a 7 out of 10.
Kind of off topic, but what does a lineman do in the Pro Bowl when they're just doing like flag?
I have no idea.
Just come to watch or something?
I think so. I don't know, because I remember watching a little bit of the Pro Bowl and Tyler Huntley dropping dimes out there.
Yeah, he was slinging
to
it.
Stephon Diggs, who was covered by Trayvon Diggs.
And he was destroying his brother.
Because none of those teams got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I give him a 6 out of 10.
Cool. Do you have any words about their linebacking core?
I think I did.
Do you still have them?
I don't know. Let me find them if I can.
You're looking. Well, I'll say they did take Kayvon Thibodeau, I think like 5th overall, something like that, in 2022. In his rookie season, he had 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss, and 18 pressures. So he's going to need to get better. There's a lot more expectations on him. They signed Bobby Okereke from the Colts, and he's a solid linebacker. They have Azeez Ojulari, who's also all right in that linebacking core. And then Darian Bevers is set to be another starter for them at inside linebacker. He didn't play at all as a rookie, though, so a complete unknown there.
Yeah. This is kind of weird, but I'm looking at Kevon Thibodeau.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
That's the guy.
Yep.
He isn't. His numbers aren't the best. He does need to get better. But he was a 5th overall pick, and he is 22.
Yep.
He's almost the same age as you.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
Good, because I don't really like Kayvon Thibodeau. He's kind of a jerk. He was the guy who injured Nick Foles last year and started doing snow angels next to him.
Oh, that guy. Oh, cool.
And then I don't remember who they asked. They were talking about like Jeff Saturday or whatever. He was like, who? It's like only one of the greatest centers of all time. Okay, shut the frick up.
Yeah, he was a coach too.
He was. That's why they were talking to him about him. I guess he was beef with the Colts or something. I don't know, but
that's crazy. Bruh gets a quarter of all of his sacks and does some snow angels next to a hurt guy.
yeah, and that's the Nick Foles who's dying on the field.
Wait, what happened to him?
Well, he sacked him, and Nick Foles said, "Oh, my tummy."
I guess he's just not used to getting sacks because he was really excited about it, and then
Yeah, probably. And he was like, "Snow Angels," and he's like, "I didn't know he was there." As Nick Foles is just like, "Ah." He couldn't hear. I give the linebacking core a 7 out of 15.
What?
I was kind of disappointed with it.
Me too.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau, do better.
Yeah, he brought it down.
Yeah,
Idiot.
big time.
I hate that guy, Josh.
Those Snow Angels.
I just said Josh Allen, man. Josh Jacobs.
Secondary.
Oh.
Right? That's how I was feeling about the secondary, too. I'm not loving Adoree Jackson and then rookie Deontay Banks as their top 2 corners, especially because rookie corners typically tend to struggle unless their name is Sauce Gardner, and that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I mean, Jalen Ramsey was solid as a rookie, Darrelle Revis, but yeah, most of the time rookie corners tend to struggle, and so I'm not loving that he is, one of their top corners that they got there. I mean, props to Adoree Jackson, though. I mean, he did only allow 51% completion percentage when he was targeted last year. Another corner they got there is Darnay Holmes. He's all right. He had 8 passes deflected last year. And then their safeties are Xavier McKinney, who's all right, and Jason Pinnock. Nope. Pinnock is the other safety. And they're both guys who are safeties.
They don't play very well.
They're there for sure. McKinney's solid, but I gave their secondary a 4 out of 10.
They also got a first-round draft pick, the 24th overall. Dante Banks. Did you talk about him already?
Yep.
Ooh, I'm really not listening, huh? Yeah. When I write down notes, they usually don't turn out well because I try to say them.
Mm-hmm.
But I did write down notes for this one. I
say them.
It said fine, I guess, and then it's a round 1 quarterback too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. I can't write down more because I'll just say more, and that never turns out well. I ended up giving him a 6 out of 10. I do think their corner can be good.
Yeah, I think he could be good as well. I just think he's going to struggle as a rookie, as most of them tend to do.
Yeah. What'd you give him?
Give him a 4.
What do you think about kicker?
I think Graham Gano's a pretty good kicker. He was 29 of 32 last year, 8 for 9 when it came to 50 plus. So I give him a 4.5.
He was pretty good. I give him a 3. Maybe
John just hates special
I'll
teams.
bump him up to a 4. I'll bump him up to a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, what was it there?
Well, we do know that you love some special teams. So what are your thoughts on everyone else who isn't a kicker there?
Kick return. Gary Brightwell.
Yep.
Is fine. I mean, there's never really like a standout kick returner unless you're like,
except for Nixon, really, from Green Bay, we had like 1,000.
Oh yeah,
kick return yards in like 8 games.
He was really good.
Outside of that, because Brightwell he had 555 return yards, along a 47, which is pretty solid.
That's all he really did.
But I see that on every team.
Yeah, I'm saying, their punter did. Like I was saying earlier, and this because the Eagles are very good. The punter did have close to 3,500.
Yep, Jamie Gillen, the Scottish Hammer,
with a long of 69. The Scottish Hammer, is that what they call him?
That is.
That's kind of cool.
I gave their special teams a 2 out of 7.
Wow, golly.
What'd you give them?
A 3.
Wow.
Golly.
All right, what is your overall for these New York Giants?
So low energy. Give me some.
What is your
I give him
Okay.
a 60.
man alive? We gotta sharpen up for the season.
Oh, wow. I give him a 64.
I give them a 57,
Dang, son.
and I was like, because sometimes I'll kind of have these like quotes for the team or whatever, like a saying for them. And my one for the Giants is, man, Brian Dable must be a really good coach
Yeah.
because, and I know he's a good coach, but like this, he took a 57 overall team because our ratings are objective.
It was a
Subjective.
64 overall team, but yeah.
And he took them to the playoffs, and they beat the fraudulent Vikings,
Just
who were still a 67, at 10 points higher.
slam down on the Vikings.
Yeah. Over under now. This is a little bit of a tougher one. 8.5.
Ooh, they got 9 wins this season, didn't they?
They did. That's really close to 8.5.
It sure is. That's. I wonder if Vegas just like they didn't really change that much. We're just gonna put it one below or above
Yeah.
what they
well,
got. I hate.
They're good
Vegas.
at this. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Sometimes they're not. What do you think?
I'm gonna go under.
I think I will too. They're in a hard division, and they're not a good team.
All right. Where do you want to go next? You want to go Commies or you want to go Cowboys?
We can go to the commies, I guess.
Commies and Cowboys. Loved that gameplay growing up. Well, they got Sam Howell is currently set to be their quarterback. They've come out and said Sam Howell is our guy. Now, Howell was a rookie last year, 5th-round pick. He played one game, threw 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and had a 57% completion percentage.
Sam Howell.
He was projected to be a 1st-round pick a couple years ago. Then his last year in college happened where he was still good, but he was not spectacular like he had been before. And so then he ended up falling all the way down to the 5th round where the Redskins took him. And maybe he still has, that potential of being that 1st overall pick. But I don't know. I mean, no one else thinks so.
Yeah,
He didn't go in the 1st round. So, like,
and then when he went to show what he could do, I mean, this is what he can do.
he was mid.
He was okay, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a pick and a touchdown and 169 yards and
Yeah, so maybe he'll be good, but
I don't think
I don't
so.
really have a lot of faith in him. Now, if he is bad, they got Jake Brisket there, who's always a solid quarterback to have.
He was
And
a Pro Bowler this year.
yeah, so he could, if they're playing well, but maybe Sam Howell isn't, kind of like how Zach Wilson was last year,
Yeah.
where like they were playing good even though their quarterback wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get in that kind of a situation, they got Brisket they can throw in there, maybe, help them be not as terrible if he is. But I'm going with just rating Sam Howell, and I'm giving him an 8 out of 20.
I gave him an 11. And I need to stop. I should just
Basing everyone off of Will Levis.
I should have gone back to Will Levis. Well, Will Levis and C.J. Stroud and
yeah, we gave them 2 high ratings.
we did. What's wrong with us?
So much.
What if they're good?
But the rookies.
Yeah. Well, I gave him an 11, which is the same much as I gave
The same thing you gave
Will Levis.
Will Levis.
So I think this is kind of what Will Levis is going to come in and do, but just have more running yards.
Okay.
He's just kind of going to come in and throw 169 yards and a pick and a touchdown and be mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I gave him the same rating.
All right. Running backs. What are you thinking there?
I think they're not that good.
Really?
Yeah. Brian Robinson Jr. is their number 1. He got 800 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's all right, I guess.
Averaged almost 4 yards a carry, which is solid.
That is pretty solid. And their number 2 is Antonio Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who he was until I started doing this, and I probably won't be seeing a lot of him in the season.
Yeah, he still ran for 500 yards last year, and he's more of a receiving back, too. He had 353 receiving yards, whereas Brian Robinson had like 2 catches for 12 yards.
Yeah, and Robinson only had 2 touchdowns on the ground, and Gibson had 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think Gibson had another 2 receiving, so solid linebacking.
These
running back
linebackers.
group there. I
Golly.
give them a 5 out of 8.
I give him a 4.
Good stuff. All right. Receivers.
Oh boy, these receivers.
Well, Terry McLaurin, oh boy, he's good no matter who's throwing him the football.
On golly.
He's had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons every year going into the season with a different quarterback. And then throughout the season, that quarterback changes as well. And he's at 1,000 yards the last 3 years. And then his rookie year, he had over 900 yards. So he is well over 4,000 yards in 4 years. So, and he just makes some spectacular catches too. Curtis Samuel is a solid number 2 receiver to have. And then Jahan Dotson was solid as a rookie. He was their first-round pick a couple years ago, and he had 500 yards and 7 touchdowns. So with that group there, I think it's a pretty solid group for whoever's throwing them the football. I give them an 8 out of 12.
I gave them an 8 as well. Oh, my
Whoa,
goodness.
let's go. We're twinning.
Yeah, if Terry McLaurin could have just got 81 more yards his rookie season, like just 4 straight 1,000-plus yard seasons, that would be a baller. Just like the other guy who did that. The Bucks can't.
Oh, Mike Evans?
Mike Evans,
Yeah, he could be on that Mike Evans streak.
Yeah. Has anyone else done that?
Randy Moss did that for a while.
And then he didn't?
Yeah. I don't know. I know Jerry Rice had a stretch where he had like 10 or 11 seasons in a row or something like that.
Jeez.
So, with 1,000-plus.
What a monster.
Right?
Terry McLaurin, the
GOAT?
The new GOAT, maybe?
What do you think about their tight ends?
I don't think they're very good.
Yeah, I think Logan Thomas, the only thing I've written down is Logan Thomas is a serviceable tight end.
He's
all right.
Quarterback, which I knew before Benea told me.
Yep.
And this year he had 320 receiving yards. He had a touchdown. He's okay. I mean, he's not good, really.
Yeah, I gave him a 4 out of 8.
You gave him a 4. I gave him a 3.
All right. Offensive line.
What did PFF tell you?
PFF told me they're 27th going into 2023.
Eee.
So PFF has them ranked above the Giants, but I give that Giants that half point there because they have Andrew Thomas. They actually have a good lineman, where the commies don't really have a standout offensive lineman there. So gave them that 4 out of 10.
I did too. They're pretty fake. They're not a very good.
Not real.
Yeah, maybe this team's just going to be really bad this year. Kind of like
Yeah.
looking at it, and they're just kind of like, maybe.
Well, we're getting to the strong suit of the team, I would say, and that's their defensive line. They got Montez Sweat, who has constantly been, wrecking havoc on them, on the opposing team. He's got 29 sacks in his first 4 years now, and he had 31 pressures last year, which led the team. They got Deron Payne, who had a career-high 11.5 sacks last year. He was second in pressures with 25. Jonathan Allen had 7.5 sacks and 21 pressures last year. So all 3 of those guys, real good. And then you have Chase Young, who was the second overall pick a few years ago and was solid as a rookie and has not been healthy since. And so he won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2020 and basically just hasn't played since then. And the little bit he has played hasn't been that great. He actually got his 5th-year option declined a couple months ago. But I mean, he's still a solid player, and when he's the worst player on your defensive line, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, solid line.
So I give them a 12.5.
Oh, me too. I'm glad I indoctrinated you to start using half points.
You did. I only use half points now.
I could tell. Like half those points that you gave out were halves.
What do you think of their linebackers?
I don't know too much about their linebackers. I try to stay away from the
communism.
Yeah.
Yeah. First round pick, Jermaine Davis is probably their best linebacker. He was their first round pick back in 2021. He had 104 tackles last year. 9 of those went for a loss. They have Cody Barton, who they signed from the Seahawks, who's projected to be starting there, and he was solid. And David Mayonnaise, but nothing too flashy. His name's David Mayo. I give their linebacking core a 5 out of 10. Let's see what you gave them. I'll speak for you. John's got his face full of burrito. He gave them a 6 out of 10. All right, so he's a little bit high on them. It's the mayonnaise. Secondary. They got Kendall Fuller there as their top corner, and he's all right. He had 13 passes deflected and 3 picks in 2022. And then Emmanuel Forbes, another corner taken in the first round. They got him 13th overall out of Mississippi State. He, in his time there, in his 3 seasons, he had 14 interceptions and 6 defensive touchdowns.
Oh.
He
Wow.
had 3 pick sixes as a rookie and another 3 in his last season.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, he could be really good. He's really fast. So,
Who
he
is
could be
that?
really fun. Emmanuel Forbes. You're not going to see him on the stat sheet there because he didn't play for them last year.
That'll probably do it, yeah.
And then their safeties, they got Benjamin St. Juice, who only allowed a 47% completion percentage when he was targeted last year. Actually, he might be another corner. Their safeties are Cameron Curl and Derek Forrest, and they're both all right.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun stuff going on here in the secondary.
Yeah, these are goofy looking fellas too. He kind of looks like an egg. His
Yeah,
head.
I wonder what
Derek.
Benjamin St. Juice looks like.
We can see.
Oh man, click on him. Maybe I'll throw him on screen here for you,
Benjamin
the
St.
YouTube fam.
Juice. Oh no!
He looks like his name is St. Juice.
He looks like celery.
He does. All right, for those of you on Spotify,
He
look
looks
him
like
up.
celery.
Yeah, imagine celery. That's him. I give their secondary a 6 out of 10.
I give him a 5.
All right, special teams. What you got there?
I have him at a 3 out of 7.
Same.
It's just special teams. I mean, they
It
did
is.
have more yards and kick returns than most people. They had 900, but that was split up between 2 guys or 3 guys or even 4.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson, I think, was one of their main return guys, right?
Mhm.
And Dax Moline.
Yeah, Dax Moline had had exactly 300 yards.
Oh, good for
He
him.
averaged 20 exactly. He had 15 attempts.
That's not too bad.
Consistency.
And then Tress Way is their punter, and he's just consistently been good for them for about a decade now.
He had 68 as his long, and he had just under 3,900 yards.
Yeah, so I give their special teams a 3 out of 7. And then for their kicker, I also gave him a 3 there, a 3 out of 5 for Joey Sly. He was 25 for 30 on field goal attempts. Did miss 4 of his extra points, though.
Yeah, when you have an 85 for extra point completion, that's kind of goofy.
It's not enough.
Yeah. I mean, that could come down to like weather or being a bad kicker.
Yeah.
But, I gave him a 3 because that's what I gave him.
All right. So my total points then for the Redskins are a 58.5 out of 105.
Mine was a 59.5.
Whoa, that's the closest we've gotten to matching.
We would have been
We only
within
have-
half a point.
We only have one team left to try to match on.
We've been within half a point before, I think.
We just were.
No, we were within a full point because you were 88.5 or 58.5. And I was 59.5.
Over under 9.5 wins. I'm taking
Way
the under.
under. Way.
Especially if Sam Howell's starting. Unless Sam Howell's really good, but I don't think he is.
Under 8.5.
9.5.
Whoa.
They have a higher line than the Giants. I don't know why.
I think under for both teams, but
You did. You hate them both.
I do hate them both.
All right. Well, here's your old team.
I hate these guys. We
Those
them boys.
Dallas Cowboys. What do you think about Dakota Prescott?
Stop.
That's
not
what
even
Dak
his-
is short for.
That's not his first name though.
I know his name's like Rainey or something.
Something fruity like that.
Yeah, I know why he goes by Dak.
Yeah, what a dumb name. They get hated on a lot, and I think most of it is valid.
Very warranted.
Very warranted. Dakota Prescott had a down year this year. He was out for, I believe,
4 games?
4 games. And when he came back, he was on a mission. He really wanted to be first in the league at something, and what he wanted to be first in the league in was picks, apparently.
Mm-hmm. He did a really good job of that.
Excellent job.
He had
12 games to do it, or 11 even.
15 interceptions?
15 of them,
Wow,
yeah.
that's more than one a game.
It is. Good math.
Thanks.
And then he threw 23 touchdowns, which is better than Jalen Hurts. But he
Yeah,
also
Confirmed better.
yeah, he did. He only ran in 1, so Jalen Hurts is actually better.
Jalen Hurts, the running back.
Yeah. The only way to tell who's the best quarterback is by touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns specifically.
Yeah. Running
Rushing
touchdowns,
don't count.
they only count half of a touchdown.
I don't think they should count it all, honestly. I think that the refs should blow the whistle, call it dead play, replay the down.
He had a 66% completion rate, and yeah, he got sacked 20 times in those
That's not too
12
shabby.
games, and that's not too bad. I mean, good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Dak's a little bit of over. He's a little overhated, in my opinion. He definitely had a down year. That's I believe the most picks he's ever thrown in a season. But I think he's gonna bounce back. At least I don't think he's gonna throw as many interceptions. They got a different offensive coordinator now, so we'll see if that helps or hurts them. I think he's proven to be a good quarterback and top 15, and he can when he's at his high, he can be a top 10. But are you going to be able to win a Super Bowl with him, or is he just going to
Absolutely
be
not.
dark-skinned Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be able to win a Super Bowl with him as long as he's on the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't win Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Not since 19 something.
not since they beat the Steelers and
Not
then beat the Bills
since-
twice.
Not since the new millennium.
That's it.
Yeah, his last 2 seasons combined, he had less picks than he did.
Yeah.
But he did only play 5 games in 2020 because he was also hurt then.
Yep, messed up his ankle.
Dumb. Why
It's
did
the
you
only
do
2
that?
times he's really gotten hurt, though. He doesn't get hurt often.
2 times. And it
Twice.
out for the whole season.
Running back, what are you thinking?
Ooh, baby. I love Tony Pollard. Tony
Oh, yeah.
Pollard is a absolute baller.
Explosive.
Oh, I
some
didn't
would
even
say.
say what I gave Dak a 14.5.
I didn't say what I had for Dak either. I gave him a 15.
Wow, we're really close. Maybe we can get this one.
Ooh, okay. What's your? Well, tell me about Tony Pollard.
I like him.
All right, I do too.
I think he was way better than Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh yeah.
They'd give Zeke the ball whenever they were close to the line. He just kind of, crop top crusader, just kind of punch the ball in there.
Just kind of fall forward.
Yeah, he was good at falling forward. He
Mhm.
got 12 touchdowns and 800 yards. But Tony Pollard, even with that 12 touchdowns happening from Ezekiel Elliott, he still got 9.
Mm-hmm.
And
1,000 yards.
he did get 1,000 yards. He averaged 5.2, which is kind of like pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He had a long of 57, and he was balling. He had more than 1,000 yards. I think he could break 12 or 1,300 this year.
I think he has the potential to be a top 5 running back in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
My main concern with Tony Pollard right now is just he got that injury. He suffered that injury against San Francisco. And so it sounds like he should be healthy by the time regular season comes around. But will he be? I don't know.
Maybe. The answer is maybe.
The answer is maybe. He better be, because if it's not him, it's going to be Ronald Jones or Malik Davis running the football.
Jinkies.
Yeah. So I gave their running back a 6.5.
Me too. I gave it a
Ooh,
6.5.
So we're half a
Don't
point
look
off
at
so
my
far.
overall.
Don't look at mine either.
I can't see
All
yours.
right, wide
It's
receiver room.
black. They have one good wide receiver.
I'd say they have a few good wide receivers. They got one number 1 wide receiver, so not quite as good as the Eagles, but CeeDee Lamb had a big year in 2022. In his last 2 seasons now, he has 2,461 yards and 15 touchdowns. So he's had a pretty good last couple of years. And, I mean, we've already talked about a couple low-risk, high-reward trades. Cowboys trading for Brandon Cooks. Another one that's like that. Another good receiving option there. Low risk, high reward. I think Brandon Cooks back in this offense on a real team, because he's not on the Texans anymore, can
They're a
get
fake
back to
team.
being, another 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup is also a good third option to have. So they got a good trio of receivers there on that squad.
Yeah. Something for Dak to throw to, and hopefully not the other team. That could probably get them to another playoff game. Then they'll win, one playoff game and lose to the Niners.
No excuses, Dakota.
He's had no excuses the whole time.
No, he hasn't. Yeah, because he used to have Amari Cooper too, and Des Bryant before that. So he's always had good receiving options. I gave their wide receiver room a 10.
I gave him a 9.
Oh, we're still a half point off. Now I'm
Within
ahead
half
of
a
you.
point, but yeah.
Oh, man, this is exciting.
Oh, crap.
I'm not looking.
Tight ends.
I'll just take my glasses off.
Just can't read anything. Tight end. What do you think about Jake Ferguson?
They got, he's there. He's set to be the starting tight end. I think in order to be a Cowboys tight end at this point in time, at least, you just have to have a stupid long last name. Ferguson's the shortest one. They also got Peyton Hendershot and
Not a real name.
Luke Schoonmaker. So
Schoolmaker.
Schoolmaker, something.
Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker. What is a schoon? I don't know.
Their fourth
making
is Sean McKeon. So I don't think he has a really long name either.
No, not real.
He's not real.
So Ferguson looked good last year when he played. Who was their other tight end who they lost in free agency? Blanking on his name.
He was
now,
good,
but he
though.
signed with the Texans. Didn't have a stupid long name, so he didn't fit in Dallas.
Yeah.
But when Ferguson did get a play, he was pretty good.
19 catches.
Cowboys used like all 4 of their tight ends last year, and so I think they'll do that again, where they use 2, 3, or 4 tight ends, kind of just cycle them through. So
None of them are really that good, though.
exactly, that's why I give them a 3 out of 8.
Me too.
Oh, all right, offensive line.
Offensive line. PFF said a healthy Cowboys O-line is number 6. See, I wrote down stuff. Stop talking. Don't laugh.
Copy and pasted stuff.
I did stuff. Yeah, I wrote down. Well, okay. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to paraphrase it?
Yep, that's what you do. Otherwise, you fail.
Yeah, I'm gonna get fine.
You're supposed to have AI write it for you.
Tell me about.
We should do an episode where AI writes it for us.
That's what all of our episodes are.
We are AI.
Tell me what you think about their O-line, because I can't do it.
Well, they got 2 future Hall of Famers on there, I would say, and Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. Martin is now a 6-time first-team All-Pro. The thing with Tyron Smith, though, is he's starting to get up there in age. He's only played 17 games in the last 3 years, so he's essentially missed 2 full seasons recently. So he's still very good, but his best days behind him. And then their center, Tyler Badez,
By a dozen, yeah.
was a Pro Bowler last year, which is solid. So a good offensive line. I give them an 8 out of 10.
I think it's crazy how you can just go to like offensive linemen. It's just like, yeah, this is how old they are and how tall they are. They played here. That's it.
Yep.
Like I'm just
No numbers. You don't know how good they are on ESPN. That's why I
gave them an 8 as well.
Ooh, all right. Defense.
Okay, you're gonna yell at me for. Oh, I didn't copy paste this one. You can tell because it's spelling errors. Micah Parsons had 13.5 sacks and 13 tackles for loss. The other 2 on the line had 10 sacks and 10 sacks for the other 2 players and a good draft pick. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a pretty good D line.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is insane, and now he's just been like rushing the passer as like a hobby, just part time, and now he's gonna be doing that full time.
Yeah,
and to do it at part time for the last 2 years, he had 26.5 sacks and 33 tackles for loss. And was an All-Pro both years.
And now he's full time. He was doing 20 hours a week. He's doing 40 now.
Yeah. He got 41 pressures last year too, and he was voted 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year. This guy's insane.
He is him, lowercase.
Although the one time that I did see Micah Parsons play live, he did absolutely nothing.
Garbage.
Terrible.
Human trash.
Same with DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah, pretty bad.
He's not as good as he was a few years ago, but he's still good and was a Pro Bowler last year for whatever that's worth. He had 6 sacks and 21 pressures. They got Osa Odigizua as an interior lineman there, and Mozzie Smith was their first-round pick, another interior lineman.
What's with all these goofy names? There's no
normal people play
There's
football.
no like Matthew Smith or anything like that.
There's a few like Alex Smith. Like that's a very boring name.
There's a Hazai Smith or Mazai Smith, and he's on this D line. Yep. He just got drafted.
Yep.
That's what I was talking about when
That's
I
what
said
I was
my
talking
things.
about a second ago.
Yeah. Like what is this? Jabril Cox? Who is that?
That's not real.
Yeah, he isn't real. We'll talk about him in a second, or you will, because I didn't write anything down.
Yeah, so I give their defensive line a 13.
Me too. I gave him a 13. Oh, okay. We're still within half a point. I think you're half a point ahead of me.
Yep.
Okay.
Linebacking core. So they got Leighton Vander Esch, who's not he's not great. I mean, he's fine. He was really good as a rookie, but that was in 2018. That was a long time ago.
Correct.
And so, yeah, with Micah Parsons moving from linebacker to defensive line, the linebacking core took a hit here in terms of my points. He's still their best linebacker that they've got there. They got Damone Clark and Jabril Cox as linebackers.
I was just talking about that guy.
Yeah, he's not real, though. So because they have players who aren't real, Leighton Vander Esch, what the heck? That's not a real name. I give them a 5 out of 10.
Oh, crap. I gave him a 7.
You're way too high.
I am way too high. What am I talking about?
All right, well, hopefully you're not too high on their secondary.
Oh, I'm a little too high in their secondary.
Oh, no. What do you think about their secondary?
I think they were good enough for me to give them the extra point.
Oh, really? Better
Yeah,
than the Eagles.
maybe I'm smoking that Zaza.
I do think that they do have a good secondary, though.
I like Trayvon Diggs a lot. That's
And they also traded for Stephon Gilmore.
and they have Stephon Gilmore now and Donovan Wilson again, not real. What is this? It looks like a Minecraft character.
Yeah, he's got a blocky head. Look up Donovan Wilson.
Yeah, my words are not. Your turn.
Stephon Gilmore was a great trade. He had 2 picks for the Colts last year, 11 passes deflected, and 56% completion percentage when he was targeted. Of course, Trevon Diggs, he was a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons. He had 3 picks and 14 passes deflected last year and didn't give up 1,000 yards.
Whoa.
Big improvement here. Also didn't have a bazillion interceptions.
That
Javon
comes when
Curse
you
and
don't,
Donovan Wilson are both solid safeties as well.
Yeah, I mean you can give up 1,000 yards, but you'll have those picks, and if you don't give up 1,000 yards, you can't get the picks.
Mm-hmm.
You still get 3, I think.
All right, what'd you give their secondary?
Give their secondary an 8, but
I
that's
give
with
them
the
a
extra
7.
point. But I get it's with the extra point though. So if you were giving out extra points,
I'd give it to the Eagles.
okay, I probably should have given it to the Eagles.
Yeah.
We'll switch some stuff around before. Maybe I'll put Will Levis at like a 2 or something before next episode.
Before everything's solidified, and that way it makes all our last 8 episodes all obsolete.
Oh, it's not going to be by much. Shut the
All
fuck
right.
up.
Kicker. They got Tristan Vaccaro, who throughout his career has hit 11 of 12 kicks with a career long of 47. He has missed 5 extra points, though.
Yeah, what did you give him?
Well, he's not their only kicker. They also have Brandon Aubrey, who played for the Birmingham Stallions last year in the USFL. He was 18 of 21 kicking, and I guess he was good enough to make it to the NFL. That being said, I still give their kicker a 2 out of 5.
I gave him a 1, so we're getting a little closer.
Mm-hmm. Special teams.
I did take that secondary down a point because I think you're right, and I was thinking about it when you said it.
Okay, good.
You
That helps
pressured
us
me.
get closer.
Actually, no, then that makes the Eagles have the extra point. I gotta move everything around now.
Oh, man. Just don't even listen to this episode, guys. It's all obsolete.
The Eagles secondary is now an 8.5. That changes.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
That changes everything.
everything.
And for special teams, you gave their kicker a 1, you said?
I did.
All right, so special teams. Brian Anger is a good punter, and they got Kevon Turpin, who didn't end up returning any kicks in the regular season. Yeah, I think he had 2 punt return touchdowns in the preseason last year, which was cool. He's a solid return guy, also a USFL guy from the season before. And so I gave their special teams a 4 out of 7.
I gave him a 5. I think Turpin was really good in the preseason just because, no one's really trying in the preseason. But I think it's been another year. He's just coming into the NFL, and it's a whole different ball game because, he's from the USFL, and you just get into the big boy league. So I think he can be better this year. And I gave him a 5 out of 7.
All right.
What does that give it overall for you?
I think that means that they're higher for you than for me. I give them a 73.5.
Oh, my gosh. I
What'd you
gave him a 74.
No.
Stop with those half points. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, you shouldn't have converted me.
I only gave out 2 half points. You had to have given out 3 or 1.
Let's see. I did one to running back, and that's it.
Dang it. Why couldn't you have given Dakota
I can't change it now because it's got to
true.
match up.
It's true.
All right.
We were really close.
Over
there.
under 9.5 for the Cowboys.
I'll take over.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna tap that over as well.
They're just good enough to get to the playoffs and then lose.
Yep. Just good enough for that.
I think they will get second in their division again.
Yep.
Just because of
Because the Eagles are really good.
Because the Eagles are really good, and these other 2 teams are not the best.
Yeah, Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl. There's no way
They have to,
because they're both our highest rated team.
like by a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna be recapping over the next episode or 2, going through the NFC and AFC just more as a whole, I guess, and looking at who our Super Bowl champions are.
Yeah, and
It's
maybe
probably
who
gonna
are
be the Eagles.
and who our maybe favorite quarterback is, just based on numbers, and
See what we actually think.
and then we'll be like, wow, we were really dumb when we were putting all those episodes together. Don't listen to us back then.
Yeah.
This is all just filler. We're just waiting for the season to happen.
Honestly, like, what the heck?
Like, why can't it be all?
September can't come any faster.
Yeah, the NBA gets a season that's like most of the year long. Why can't we?
Well, that's kind of a lot, though. They get like a 3-month off season. That's it. Like, that's kind of a lot, but
Yeah, but I'm watching. I'm not playing.
yeah,
I don't care.
I don't care. All right, well, let us know what you think
Bye.
in the comment section down below. Again, if you're on Spotify, you can tell us a premature goodbye.
Sorry.
If you're on Spotify, you can go down and vote on who you think is going to win this division. And if you say it's not the Eagles, go to YouTube and tell us why, because we're confused in that case.
Yeah.
Dumb. Yeah, let us know what you thought of this little mini-series. Anything that we might do differently next off season, because we'll probably do this again. We are thinking of adding coaches into it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably keep making them worth 15 or 20, something like that. And also we're going to combine kicker and special teams. I don't know why
what is wrong with us?
Why we did it that way. I don't know, because it upset me that it was out of 105 as opposed to just 100.
You like very specifically told me that you wanted them separated.
No, I don't think so. I thought that was a Kylie thing, but maybe not. I don't know. Kylie, let us know. Was that a you thing? I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Banana.
I don't think it was, but it definitely could have been.
I do think it was banana.
I think it was you. But yeah, let us know what you thought of this little mini series. Let us know what else we should do in the off season.
I wouldn't rate kickers and special teams if it was up to me. We just have an empty spot.
Yeah.
They're not important.
Not real. All right. Well, see you guys next week.
We should take kicking out of the NFL. Just like line up at the 50 and just see if you can throw it through the uprights. And then like for an extra point, you line up at the 1, and for 2 extra points, you line up at the 4 or 5, and then for 3 extra points, you line up at the 10.
You want those USFL
I
rules?
do want those USFL.
Yeah, same.
And then like for a punt, just start at the 25. That's where most of them go anyway, and people get hurt.
Well, it depends on the field position. More for kickoffs.
For kickoff, start at the 25. For a punt, just throw it.
Most
quarterbacks can throw like 70 yards anyway, so like just chuck it. If you get it through the uprights, that's another point. I mean, just go for a field goal at that point.
Yeah.
Kicking's stupid, and anybody who likes kickers I hate
Take the foot out of football.
Yeah. This is
ball.
Throw ball. Pigskin.
We don't need to have a podcast.
Josh Allen game. I like that. That's Madden in real life. Madden in real life. Men's cycles are like hormonal cycles, are like throughout the day. Like you wake up and then it like peaks in the middle of the day and it goes down.
Women are throughout the night.
Women are just. This would be a crazy before the crack.